Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Punt Situation with Polk and Scott. How's it going, Scott?
Going good at Hulk, man. Friday night, and we're over here talking some football tonight. I know a lot of high school football is going on tonight, so it's exciting. College football starts tomorrow. I'm super excited about that. And next Thursday, NFL starts. So, guys, we're going to give you a little bit, uh, a rundown of our draft a couple weeks ago, and here we go.
Right. So, you mean football started last night, right, Scott?
Well, yeah, football started last night. Sorry for
You,
junior high. Sorry,
there's a couple good games
junior
on.
high, seventh, eighth grade.
No, they're
Junior
actually
high.
college, Scott.
Oh, some college games came on last night. I mean,
Yeah,
I wasn't even worried
there's
about
some,
that.
the backyard battle of the backyards or backyard battle. Really good game. Got to watch it. Came down to the end. Interception,
Nice.
a tipped interception. Really good. So, hold on. Let me look that up. Backyard brawl is I think what it was called.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Pitt and West Virginia.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Well, it's good to know that football is finally back. You know, guys, if you live in Texas, you're excited about football. You got Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night. I mean, it's great. And plus the heat finally coming down over here. We're getting rain. It's gonna be awesome. Just go outside and watch football.
Right. Yeah, we're excited. It's coming quick. So I know a lot of y'all have y'all's drafts. A lot of y'all, our dedicated fans, are hoping to listen to that. Unfortunately, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our draft. We're just going to do that draft review. We've had a lot of people in the league hollering for it, so you gotta bring what the fans want. Um, so we're going to give our rundown of our draft and just kind of give them some draft grades. Kind of talk about where people fell, where people went. So this is a good basis, especially if you're still drafting. Just kind of listen up and you kind of get an idea. A lot of these guys are very solid. A lot of these guys are seasoned. I think I don't know that there's one guy under. Okay, there's one guy that may be under probably 8 years experience in this league. So uh,
Mhm.
you're still going to see some crazy picks. You're still going to see some crazy things, but you're always going to see that, right, in every draft. So bear with
Right.
some of these guys. They had a little too much beer and they drafted Mahomes a little too early or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
right, Joe? Um, anyway, so we're excited to talk about it. We're excited to bring him to him. I know Clat was heavy, so we'll do Clat last. Oh well, he's second to last, so he has to listen to it all.
Yeah.
No skipping, Clat. You got
Right.
to hear it all. But
Yep.
all right. So how do you want to do this? You want to run it down by teams? You want to run it down by by rounds? How do you want to do this, Scott?
Let's go by down rounds. I think that'll be great. And then also, guys, we're gonna Polk and I are gonna grade our guys as we always do, and then we would like to hear from you if you think our grades are fair or we're too high or we're too low. Just let us know.
Too high, too low. Right on. Yeah. So we're gonna run through this. I'm just gonna shoot a quick little text, let the guys know that hey, we're live, and this can happen. So for draft grades, I text really slow. I could
Mhm.
get that T9. You know what I'm saying? Bang it 3 times to get a T. Um, but I guess I'm slower than new age technology. Anyway, just letting them
Yes,
know.
well.
Um, so I don't know, Scott. You ready to kick this off? What's up? We got Tater,
Let's
first pick,
let's
first round. Tater, that's his real name. He's a potato.
Yep.
No, good dude.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, what else is there to say? Jonathan Taylor, right?
Right. Jonathan Taylor was his first pick. He was super excited. He got, number one pick. So he's like, I'm getting Taylor. I'm telling y'all before the draft starts, I'm getting Taylor. I was
Right.
like, okay.
Obvious,
All right.
real easy sticker for him to pull and place on the board. Which I mean is the consensus, right? I mean he was the
Right.
best back last year. The guy's what 23 years old, so
Mhm.
durability is not a problem yet. the lead back never does it again. It doesn't. It's not consecutive usually, but he's going to be top 3. I mean, he's that good.
Right.
They brought in Matt Ryan in that offense. They're still going to run the ball a whole lot. He's going to have opportunities because they're actually going to be able to threaten the pass. So that'll kind of unstack some of those boxes. I still think he has a phenomenal year. So that's a great pick right there off the top.
Absolutely. So next guy was on the board was Cody. Cody picked his guy Derrick Henry. Great pick. I think for his where he's at, I think he did a good job on that one. Started off good on that.
Yeah, Derrick Henry. So usually you see Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey go. There's really no right, no wrong. The only concern with Derrick Henry is going to be the usage, right? He's seeing just way too many carries a year, but the guy's still doing it, right? They said the same thing last year. Now he did get his foot stepped on.
Yeah, they did. Missed a couple games.
He did get he missed a few games. Came back at the end of it. So his he's going to come back, right? He's going to shake it off.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He's a big bruiser. I think he can take the hits. He can take the carries at least for another year or two. So really not concerning me. Really not a problem. McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, man. Pope, you think on Henry? If he didn't get his foot stepped on and miss those couple games, do you think that he could have won that rushing title?
Right.
It was him and Jonathan Taylor that close. So.
Exactly. They were neck and neck. And I think, we have a whole different conversation, right? If he don't have his foot stepped on, because then it's, since it's Henry and it's Taylor, solid number 2. Agreed. You can't go wrong. Again, the dude just they lost AJ Brown. They lost one of their wide receiver threats. And sure, they're going to bring in Burks and they're going to bring in, whoever else. But I think it's still just Henry's team, right? He's the best player on the field, on that offense when they're lined up. Why not give him the ball and give him the chance? He's took them to the playoffs the last 2 fucking years. Last 2 years. I get excited. Sorry. And I don't see that changing,
Right. All right. So our number 3 pick over here was Joe. Joe picked McCaffrey. You can. A lot of people, they're hesitant to get him because he was hurt the past 2 years. I'm going to tell you again, he's going to have this is his year coming back. The guy, again, rushes really well. He catches from the back, especially having now finally a good, decent quarterback over there with Baker Mayfield. He's going to see a lot of passes for him. He could have that 1,000 this year, 1,000 passing, 1,000 or rushing. Agreed.
So if this is PPR, I consider McCaffrey a little bit higher. I consider taking McCaffrey with the 1 because, with Taylor, they've got what's his name?
Naeem Hines.
Naeem Hines. Yeah, I want to say Najee, but they got Naeem Hines that they're going to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's going to line up on third downs, especially if it's not third and short. If it's third and long, you're going to see Naeem Hines. So in PPR, sorry guys, too much beer. In PPR, I would see McCaffrey jump up there. I would definitely consider taking him at 1 or 2 because he catches the ball out of backfield. He runs the ball. He does everything. He touches the ball in every form or fashion in that offense. And Baker Mayfield's only going to help that because of Baker Mayfield's scrambling ability. He's going to be able to draw D linemen and get them to chase him, get them to come down, get them to edge defenders to kick out and try to get that sack where he can toss it right over them. Hit McCaffrey sitting there in the flat. McCaffrey's going to make those safeties, make those corners miss. And he's just, got the skill to do it, and he's the player to do it. I think, the last 2 years have been real unfortunate for McCaffrey, but, you can never bank on a player getting injured, right? Like, it's just unfortunate. Right. It happens. It's the NFL. Every top running back that you can sit there and draft besides Taylor, right, has been injured in some form or fashion. We're going to go through this list, and every single guy, Cook, Eckler, Henry, McCaffrey, Najee's even had some injury concerns, and he's new in the league. Chubb missed some last year. Kamara had problems. So you're always going to have injuries. Yeah. Mixon, same thing. All these guys are going to have injuries. That's just part of the NFL, right? They're going out there and throwing their body against fucking 350-pound linemen, right?
Right.
So
Everybody forgets. Everybody forgets, Paul, that the wonderful Tom Brady got hurt for the year. And did anybody said, "Oh, he's done"? Don't draft
right,
him.
you shouldn't have drafted him after like
No,
his fourth year in the league, right? After he missed the whole
right,
season. If you're banking on
right,
injuries, I know throwing the ball is a little bit different, but everybody gets injured. It's just a part of the NFL.
right.
It's unfortunate that it happened back to back. It's unfortunate that it was what it was. But looking at the injury history, it was a lot of minor stuff. The dude didn't miss college games. The dude didn't miss a practice up until that point. His body just finally said, "Hey, we need to take a break." And I think he learned that. The coaches learned that. Everybody is going to do better. He's going to get those breaks. He's going to come off the field. That's not going to take away from him as a player, right? He's just not going to be tired trying to run all these routes and run all this stuff, right? He's going to have the rest that he needs, that his body needs to be able to be that star that you want him to be. So in a standard,
Right.
yes, third is great. In a PPR, I'd consider him first. I'm sold on McCaffrey, and I don't think I'm wrong. People can be wrong. Injury could happen again, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think McCaffrey kind of solidifies himself as that great back again.
I agree with you, Paul. So our next pick for number 4 is going to be on our 12-man league. It's going to be Wellborn, and he got Najee Harris, which is again another great pick. Uh, right now, it's the battle of the QBs with Mitch and Kenny Pickett over there, and they're gonna need some help. And Najee's gonna be right there. They still have a solid offensive line. You'll probably see Najee just a little bit, catching the ball because Mitch tends to get a little bit nervous in the pocket, so he'll dump it off and see. Najee should have a decent year.
Right. I agree. So I'm not as high on Najee as Scott is. I think injuries are a thing. I don't like his running style. He's kind of a pound the rock type of guy. He reminds me a little bit of Jones Drew, right? Everybody remembers Jones Drew, where Jones Drew definitely had some
Oh yeah,
breakouts. He just wasn't the fastest player, the most elusive player. He's just hard to take down. Najee, I think his carries regressed a little bit from last year. Like they said, they got a whole quarterback battle. It
right.
doesn't matter. He's still the guy, but he did battle with injuries in the preseason, battled with injuries in training camp, battled with injuries at the end of last season. So I think they limit his carries a little bit now. That offense isn't good enough to completely take away his carries. So don't get me wrong. In the first round, he is a solid pick. He is one of those guys that's going to get more carries, barring him going out completely for the season. He's in the 200 carry bracket, where as you get in the lower rounds, you're looking at 100 carries, you're looking at 80 carries, and on so on. Yeah, so I don't hate the pick. It's not a terrible pick. I don't know. I think I would go with a guy that's a little bit more proven right here, like that next pick, little guy, like with Dalvin Cook versus Harris. But,
Mhm.
let me give you a little backstory of Wellborn. Wellborn's a trooper, right? I've been friends with Wellborn for a long time. First openly gay in the Navy and the military. He came out, in front of everybody. It was great. We knew it. We kind of suspected it, but, and I wanted to make sure that, he's a good guy, so I didn't judge him for it. He's been in our league for, 6, 7, 8 years now.
Yeah,
And he's the guy that likes to test these theories like zero running back. And he, he tries really hard and it never works out for him. And it's great because he tests these theories out and we all get to see that they're terrible ideas. And Wellborn just keeps on every year, throwing in that
I mean,
$150 or whatever it is, and keep spending that money so that he can keep donating to the cause, right? So I love Wellborn for it.
right.
Great guy, good dude. So
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, 15 minutes to pick. I mean, he's thinking, man. He's like, all right, this is going to be my pick, right? And then he
Right.
just checks. And, he triple checks on everything. So good for him.
Right. Yeah. Good dude. But right on. And that could definitely bite me in the ass. That Harris pick, it could work out for him. I just
Yeah.
think it's a little early for Harris. Not sold. He had the carries, but if you look at his carries and you look at the yardage, it wasn't as pretty as you want it to be, right? Like not as your
Right,
number
right.
4 pick. So
Well,
but right on.
I mean, I think it's still a great pick. But where Harris should be, honestly, he should be like in the seventh and eighth pick around there. So going on to John Little, he's our number five out of our 12-man draft there. Like Hulk mentioned, he got Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook had a really good year as well. He had a little injuries, again, kind of bit him in the butt a little bit. Everybody's still kind of hesitant with him. I mean, he kind of dropped in the ADP polls just a little bit, but he's still a great running back. Still catches from the backfield. He sees a hole. Once he sees that hole, he's gone. You're not going to catch him. Uh, and Kirk Cousins, praises the far since he's been in Minnesota. Dalvin Cook. So great pick at number five, John.
Yeah, I agree. So everybody's concerned he's getting a new offensive coordinator or a new head coach. They're kind of getting away from that power run, what they had since Adrian Peterson was there. I don't think that hurts Dalvin Cook. It's definitely some people thought it's hurt him. It kind of dropped him from consensus like top 3 or 4 or 5 last year. I've seen him drop a little bit further in drafts. I think Dalvin Cook's a great pick. I think he's a great pick here at 5. I'm okay with it. I really so in a lot of mock drafts that I've seen, he was falling to like 6 and 7. So I was 100% going to take Dalvin Cook. I was going to take that upside of that guy. New offense, you still got Thielen, you still got JJ. So it's not like the team can just key on the run. It's not like what Harris is going to have to deal with all these stacked boxes. Because don't get me wrong, Pickens and things are going to step up, right? That's why they drafted them because they needed options on that outside. But Cook has those options, right? It's JJ. Justin Jefferson is Thielen. Everybody knows them. Everybody's concerned about them. Even Osborne stepped up last year. So you can't just key on the run. Dalvin Cook's still going to be as good as ever. He's fast. He's elusive. Great back. I still think he's got about 2-3 years left in the league where he's in that top spot, at least 2 for sure. So I don't. I mean, Little did great. He did his research, I think, and got a good back there. So good job, Little.
Let me ask you this, Hulk. I've heard trade rumors about Madison going to a different team. I hadn't had a chance to look at anything today. Did he get traded, or
no? From what I've seen, what I've seen is just rumors. So everybody's like, "Oh, handcuff Madison." Madison has not been good in his opportunities. I'll be honest. In preseason games, Madison looked really good. And if you remember last year or the year before, Madison came in, he had like 5 yards out of like 10 carries. Madison's not the handcuff that everybody believed him to be. And the thing is, if teams are willing to pay for your backup that has seen the field, maybe 15 carries in 3 years, then let them. Because honestly, I feel like Cook is a generational talent, or not generational. That's maybe the wrong word, but he is one of the top backs in the league, right? If he goes down, it doesn't matter who you replace him with. You're not replacing
their whole play game, right? Their whole play, their book, their playbook has to change because Madison's coming in there. Madison's not that power back like Cook is, so you're going to have to change the scheme up a little bit. It's going to be with Madison's going to be 3, 4, maybe 5 yards of rushing. We're going to do screens. We're going to do draws and stuff like that. So it's a different back. And you're right, Polk. I mean, Madison hasn't lived up his potential from his college years. So I don't know. It's just a scheme, but maybe it could be different this year because they have a new their new head coach. We'll see. You look lost, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey. But right on. So yeah, agreed. Madison, I hope if you've already drafted, you didn't draft him to be the handcuff guy because, he may still he'll probably still be there once the season starts. We're a week out, so teams may be trading later, but right now he's not moving. So just hope for the best. Hopefully he's still on that team if Dalvin Cook goes down. But all right. So let's see. That was what 5.
Yeah, number 6 is going to be David Rucker. David Rucker picked Austin Eckler. That was his boy last year. He won the league last year.
I don't know if y'all can see. If you're on YouTube, we have this pulled up, but that's actually Rucker on the draft board. and you got to the left. Rutgers turned around, got his thumbs pointing down. He because he won it, he got a signed Eckler jersey. We give away signed jerseys to the champion, and then he's making a face with the Eckler jersey in the front. So just another neat thing that we do in our league, just to make it more fun. The winners on the draft board, and everybody tries to cover them with stickers as quickly as possible. So,
Yep, exactly. So David, like I said, David got Austin Eckler last year. He was a machine. He was coming up there a lot with Taylor and Henry, and then he got that little injury bug that got him out for like I think 4 games, right, Colt? But what's to say
yeah,
about him? I mean, yeah, I mean, what's to say about him? He's a great running back. Again, another pass catcher running back. His backups, his handcuffs, not doing good at all. Uh, yeah, if he goes down, who do they got over there? And I know they drafted another running back this offseason, but going back to Austin Eckler, you know,
they
another
signed
1,000 yard
Sonny
rusher.
Michelle, right?
Yes. No, he went back to the Rams. He went back to the Rams.
Are you sure?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he went back to the Rams.
You're mistaken, bro.
I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
Sonny Michelle, Chargers think Sonny Michelle fit right in.
Okay. Well, Chargers. All right, he went back to LA. All right, same area. So what? I was wrong with this team. What can I say? But good pick, Rucker. I like your Austin Eckler pick. Hope, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think Eckler's a solid pick. I think if it's PPR, he might be a little bit higher. I would honestly move Henry down, and it would be like McCaffrey, Eckler, possibly Cook, and then we go Taylor, Henry, and then on from there. Kamara up there too, because he may not face that suspension. But yeah, I think it's a great pick. I think it's a solid pick. I really like Eckler. Eckler just kind of can do it all, right? Same thing as
Right.
McCaffrey, except for instead of McCaffrey makes a miss, Eckler just tries to run over him. Pound for pound, he's
Right.
probably the strongest guy. He's a little freak athlete, which is great. He wears it well. Barring injuries, Eckler is one of those back. He is a top back, right? If he don't miss that
Right.
whole year, and if he don't miss some games last season, he's right up there in the top three. So, if you're looking for a guy that can do it all with some upside, Eckler's perfect in that spot. When you go further in the draft, you're looking at guys. Don't get me wrong, Mixon fell a little bit, but there's not too many other guys that I would want over Eckler. And I put him in that top tier, right? So a lot of times when you go into a draft, you go into tier based, and those guys right there, everybody pretty much, with a little shuffling, a couple players here and there out, and Eckler is that tier. Eckler is that tier one. I want him. I want him. I want McCaffrey. I want Taylor. I want Henry, Cook. Those are the guys that I want on my team, no matter what. Right? They all can jostle for that top spot. And so to be able to get one of those mid round in the draft it's great. And Rucker was able to solidify him. He carried him last year, did real well. So it's great to he's wearing the jersey. It suits it. It was awesome that he could get him back.
Yeah, absolutely. So next pick, your boy right here, Mr. Caleb Polk, got Jamar Chase. Uh, Jamar Chase is
Look, Lindsay,
considered to
Lindsay's trying to
be.
creep by, guys.
Oh my God. Uh, Jamar Chase is considered the number two wide receiver. He was the first pick wide receiver out of the draft, and by I mean you couldn't go wrong. I mean Cooper Cup, you know Devontae Adams Chase, but Chase is he was him and Joey Burrow with their connection is a fantastic connection. I think he's still going to go strong. He's not going to have a sophomore slump. Polk, I think you did an excellent pick. I know that's a little bit out of your realm picking a wide receiver. Normally you go running back, but this time you took a chance, did a little something different. Again, you know he's got a great connection with Joe Burrow, so great pick, man. Kudos because let me tell you, if it went down to me and I had a chance to get, Jefferson and Chase, I would have done it and skipped my running backs and be screwed in running backs probably. But at least I would have had it, the best wide receivers on the court. So good job, man.
Right. So I would be honest, guys. What went through my head is all the running backs that I wanted. So normally you see one of these, you see Cup going somewhere in there. So in the mock drafts and stuff, you see Eckler, Cook, or Harris, or even McCaffrey fall to me, and that's who I was dead set. And that's why mock drafts, they're great, but they also they can kind of mess you up. So at that point, I thought all my tier one backs are gone. Don't get me wrong, Mixon can be that. Mixon's been less than that than the rest of the guys, right? Barring injuries. Mixon was able to really do it last year. But, I just wasn't sold. And then I worry about Chubb's timeshare. I worry about the injury last year. You always got to keep it in the back of your head. Don't not draft a guy because of injury. But, if it's just, it was fresh. And then Kamara's whole thing. He may not miss any time this year. They keep pushing the court date back, but he very well could. And that's just not something I want to play with, right? It's your number one pick. You can't miss. You can miss later on in the later rounds and make up for it with the next round draft pick. But in the first round, you really shouldn't miss. I hope I didn't with Chase. It's a little out of my element, like Scott said. I really came into this wanting to go 3 running back. That's just what I practiced, and that's really what I wanted to do. Get 3 solid running backs and then go with receiver because you could get some later guys. But Chase was sitting there staring at me, and he's young and he had a phenomenal year. And he's got his quarterback, and that team's really playing hot. And he has another guy on the outside, Higgins, that can draw some coverage. So, it was stressful. It was a hard decision, but that's the decision I made. And,
There
we'll
you
roll
go.
with it, see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. All right. So, next pick is going to be Lindsay. Lindsay is our, our only female, which I'm glad. Uh, Lindsay picked Devontae Adams, another great pick. Little different from her as well. I mean, she normally goes running back. What you can say about Adams? Adams had a great career with Rodgers over there in Green Bay. Now he's coming with Derek Carr, with his old college teammate. Again, he was neck and neck with Cooper Cup until Cup just went insane and took it over. And what do you say about Adams, man? I mean, he's a great pick. So, and that's our number 2 wide receiver off the board there.
Yeah, a little surprising. So the number 2 wide receiver, I think. I think this one was a little forced. I would have liked to see Cooper Cup go here. To be honest, Scott. So I'm glad he is back with he's back with his college quarterback. That's great. And the Raiders definitely needed that wide receiver threat. I think that it'll work out for everybody, Hunter Renfrow and alike. With having him over there, it's just I hadn't seen them play together, and he's a little bit older, so age is a big thing for me when I'm drafting players in the first round. Age factors in, right? I want younger, I want less injured guys. Don't get me wrong; he's one of the best wide receivers to ever play. Aaron Rodgers will say he is the best, but I think I would have went with Cup at that point. I think if I would have gotten Adams, I would have stacked him with Carr. Right.
Right.
I want to completely just get that upside. If he is lower in points, I want to be able to get, 12 points every time one of them scores a touchdown. So, but still not a bad pick. It could definitely, it could really work out for her.
Right.
Not bad. I think Adams should have fell a little bit later in the draft, but
I agree with you. I agree with you. Still not a bad pick.
Yeah, no one's ever wrong, right? I mean, until they're wrong.
Right.
So,
all right. So,
again, good job. So far it's been a pretty solid, even draft.
Right. So, next one's going to be on our 9th pick. There is going to be Bryce. Bryce is new to our league over there. Congratulations to the winning league over here.
Scott, I want to kick back. So Wellborn's actually in the chat. He said every player's high speed collision for these guys. Every play is an injury waiting to happen. And then I guess he's talking about McCaffrey. He said, I think with the more downfield threat at quarterback, Najee is going to see a lighter box. So Wellborn, who are you considering a more downfield threat quarterback? They don't even know who the starter is.
Right, exactly. You don't know if it's going to be Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett. It's going to be Kenny Pickett. You know, he hasn't played a down yet in the NFL. Yeah, he looked great in preseason.
And
but
even
Mitch
then,
Trubisky,
he threw every one of his passes were under about 10 yards. So,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
glad you're hopeful. Good luck with that. Good luck being hopeful.
Yeah.
Wellborn, I hope that, translates to points in fantasy. But
yeah, exactly. All right, like I said, our number 9 pick over there is Bryce. Bryce, welcome to the league. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to talk trash to you every single day. But he picked Joe Mixon, and Joe Mixon is another good pick for me. I think it's right where he should be. Uh, Mixon had a phenomenal year. It's probably his best year since he's been in the NFL. He stepped up his game over there. When it was a goal line, he took advantage of it, and he's got some passing yards, touchdowns as well. He has been doing great, and I appreciate Bryce getting him. I mean, it's a good pick for him, and I like it. What do you think, Cole?
yeah, I agree. This is where Mixon should have went. Mixon is a guy that can kind of do it all out of the backfield. He's a little bit more physical guy. He's a little bit more bigger. He's a little bit bigger than some of these other guys. And I don't mean like stature wise. He just plays bigger, right? And he's not running people over. He can kind of do a little bit of everything, which is great. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He can make people miss. He can kind of run people over. And I think it's great because his offense has it all, right? That we tend to keep going back to this and we talk about this, but when you're threatening, you got two great receivers in Higgins and Jamar Chase and a great quarterback like that, teams are really worried. They're really not sure because you can call anything. Your playbook opens up from, 20 plays like they got with Derrick Henry, run the ball up the middle or run a play action to 80 to 90 plays where they can just do about anything. You can do wide receiver screens. You can do running back screens. You can run the ball up the middle. You can throw it over the top. It doesn't matter. They can beat you in any kind of way. So then it's just a little bit harder for a defense to key and peg. And I think Mixon's going to be successful because of that. Mixon has had injuries. It hadn't been terrible. It's 2 games here, 3 games there. If he can stay on the field and make a whole season, he's going to be a top 5 guy, right? So not a bad pick. Great where he got him. Bryce, good job. At least you didn't come in and take AP in the first round your first year when he don't even have a team. So that's good, man. You're already doing better than some of the other people. I like to see it. So,
yeah, I like it, man. This is his first year in the league. Is that right?
yes,
Not this league, but I'm not talking about our league. I'm talking about ever. I mean, has he ever played in the league before?
I don't know. I know he did DFS last year because we talked about DFS.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if this is his first pick, I think he did a wonderful job on that, man. I mean, like I said, Mixon, where he's at, I think that's a good pick for him. All right,
yeah,
so our next, our next guy, number 10 pick is Sap. Sap picked Cooper Cup. Again, it's a little different from him as well. He normally gets running backs all the time, and Cooper Cup. What do you say about him? And, last year he was league winner of the wide receivers, and he did a great job. He's got Matthew Stafford now. He's got a Rob over there, Allen Robinson, to help him out. So it's going to be probably another good year for Cooper Cup over there, barring injuries and stuff. Sapp, like I said, Sapp does pick running back right off the bat, but he went different this year as well, and good pick. I mean, I couldn't pass him up if I was at number 10. I mean, would you?
And that's exactly it, Scott. That's exactly where I'm at. You don't pass Cooper Cup here, right? Like
Yeah,
it's crazy that he fell to you. He was the number one receiver last year. He's still got Stafford. He's still got the passing offense. He's still got everything that he's had.
and he's still
And
young.
right, he's still pretty young. Um, I mean, he had like the most targeted in the end zone. He was the most targeted player in the end zone last year. I don't think that changes. Just the rapport that he's built with Matt Stafford. You know, they built a great team, and he's got a great quarterback to be able to throw him the ball. He's a great receiver. It doesn't stop, right? It wasn't a fluke last season. It's not going to be something that surprises everybody this season. I don't think Sapp could have went any other direction in his pick. So, great job. You know, you're. I like that. You know, people are drafting the best available player, and I keep seeing that with these number one picks in this season league, best available player, and that's what they're doing. You know, it's like with me or with him, we didn't let bias where we want running back. We didn't come in here and say we're definitely going running back, and then miss on one of a potential really good receiver. So I like what he did there. I can never hate on that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So next, our number 11 pick over there is going to be Clatt. Clatt been with us in the league for a while now as well, and he went, Nick Chubb. You know, I think maybe that was a little bit a reach. Not bad where he's at, but I would have picked maybe somebody else. I don't know. It's not a bad pick or where he's at. He could have he could have went wide receiver too, but he didn't. But what to say about Nick Chubb? He shares carries with Kareem Hunt. Great in the backfield. Strong runner. Knocks people down. Uh, Nick Chubb. He's going to be used a lot this year. They got beefy brisket, so um, it's going to be the Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt show for sure.
Well, what I could say to Clatt right there is Nick Chubb. You know, they ran the ball more than anybody else last season, right?
Right.
Chubb had injury, and they do have Hunt, but Chubb is probably the best running back in this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from McCaffrey. I'm not taking away from Taylor. I'm not taking away from Henry, but Chubb is just a monster. Chubb with the ball in his hands, Chubb is phenomenal. I seen him his first year make a one-handed catch in front of a guy, and he's not even a receiving back. Um, the things he does with the ball is great. The only issue that I worry about is Hunt. Right, that's what kept me from drafting Chubb all these years is because it's a timeshare. In the first round, when I get one of these guys, I want a guy that solidifies it, and that's getting less and less. Right, few and far between. You
Right.
have those guys that are just 100% the guy, like Henry. Um, but Chubb's not a terrible option at all. So,
Mhm.
with Kamara's suspension, there's not another back. Maybe Javante Williams is the only one I would really consider, and he's in a timeshare too. So, Chubb's a little bit more proven. Um, Other than that, I don't see a problem with this pick at all. I like
Right.
I like the next two picks, Kamara and Jefferson. Those are the only guys
Yeah.
I consider. But I'm a group Chubb right up there with that pick, and none of them are wrong at that spot.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so last pick is me. I have Drew number 12 over there. I'm going to talk about my two players that I picked because we're going to go back, the opposite direction there. So the first one I picked over there is Kamara. I was debating between Aaron Jones and Kamara, and Williams, but the chances of Kamara going, being suspended like Holt said, they keep pushing it back. I mean, I'm taking a big risk right here. He could get suspended for the rest of the year or whatever, whatever they decide, and it could screw me later on, down the line. But I don't think so. I think he'd be fine. And with Kamara, with the Saints offense right there, uh, you know, Michael Thomas, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Is the injury going to bother him? Is it not going to bother him? He had that hamstring injury as of late. Uh, it's kind of kind of scary over there right now. I know they got Jarvis Landry, but Kamara was a team when Drew Brees got hurt, like a couple of years ago, and he went over there and dominated. And he was getting over 100 yards, touchdowns, right and left. So I'm taking a chance because of his suspension. If he didn't, I think if he did or wasn't considered getting suspended, I think he would be a little bit higher in the draft. To be honest with you, but I think where he's at, I think it's fine. So next one I picked was Justin Jefferson. Um, JJ, I won the jersey. I got lucky on that, and Hulk looked at me, gave me that look. He said, "You won the fucking jersey, asshole." Yeah. And so I was super excited. Very happy about that. Appreciate that. So Justin Jefferson, what can you say about him, man? The guy, like I said, he's the number 2 wide receiver right now in the league. Depending on who you talk to, you got old Kirk Cousins over there, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne. He of course he went over 1,000 yards catching. He's a beast. He has the potential one day to be the number 1 wide receiver if he continues to play the way he plays there. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah.
What do you think of my 2 picks there?
Kamara, if he plays, great. He's solidified himself as one of those top backs. He's been one of those top backs year in and year out. He plays with injury. He still gets it done. I think he takes a little bit of a hit because it's not Drew Brees. Drew Brees, only threw the ball 10 yards. We all know that. Kamara was a benefactor because Drew Brees didn't like to throw the ball downfield. He liked to get it out of his hands, dump it off, things like that. Kamara make people miss. He was not an effective runner per se, but he was very effective with the ball in his hands, however they got it to him. So out of the backfield for sure. I don't think that's a terrible pick, especially, like I said, there's probably one other guy on down the line that I would consider. We're talking about Swift and we're talking about Javonte Williams. Those are the only 2 guys that I wouldn't even consider towards this back end, just because of their age and their upside. Right, Kamara is a guy that's been tried and true and done it in the league, and I think he continues to still do it in the league, especially with the team that's still trying to find their identity. Kamara is the one staple that's been on that team that has, that has the identity of the team, right? Justin Jefferson should have went in the first round. Crazy that he fell to the second round. Just a beast. I can't say much more. I put him right up there. That I'm worried that I made the wrong decision and took Chase and didn't take Justin the Jet. Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase are just those top 3 wide receivers off the board. And Devontae Adams is definitely in that mix too. So those right there, that's the top tier receivers, and you were able to get a really good running back and solidify yourself in a top tier receiver, and then you're not going to make a pick for a long time after that. So good job though.
Right. I mean, I could have gone and get Justin Jefferson first, and then Kamara. I mean, does it really matter? I mean, I'm still getting those 2. So, going back, we got Clapp again, getting Debo Samuels. Debo Samuels had a great year last year again. Had a lot of rushing touchdowns, and a lot of rushing yards. He's got Trey Lance under the helm right now. I think they're going to be using him a little bit more. Jimmy G, got signed for a year just to make sure Trey Lance doesn't get hurt or if he starts tanking. So Debo, what do you think about that pick there for Clapp?
I think Clapp wanted Debo, and he went into this draft gonna get Debo. But no, it's not a terrible pick.
No,
right behind Jefferson, all the top receivers. He already has his running back, so that's not a terrible pick with where he went. And I mean, I'd have liked to, if Debo gets the carries, which I don't think he will. It's a different quarterback. And he had the incentives and stuff. They're going to make sure that he don't get those incentives, right? I mean, they're going to try anyway,
right.
as much as the team can. No team goes in there saying, "Hey, let's pay this guy, an extra $10 million because we have to use him as a running back," right? That's the reason they
Right.
have 15 running backs on their roster. That was the whole thing with the whole contract, the whole problem. Debo didn't want to be used like that. So the team really is going to lean towards not using him like that. But again, Debo is one
You
of those
know,
physical receivers. Go ahead.
I think they are going to use him like that again this year. I mean, I know he got paid for
Okay.
it, but I know he doesn't really want to
Well, he
do
hasn't been
that.
paid for it yet.
But, right.
A lot of it's
But I
incentive.
mean,
But
yeah, you're right. A lot of his incentives is that, but I mean, he doesn't really want to do that. He wants to go out and catch the ball. And, I get that, but hey, you're there to win a freaking Super Bowl, right? So you do whatever it takes. I'm sorry if they
how
would
about
pay
get a better
me like
quarterback, right? Maybe
right.
you could
How
have
about
won
I
it
get
if
a
you didn't have
better
Jimmy G. Ask the Rams how that
right?
works. You go with a shitty
Yeah,
quarterback and you lose, and then you go with a good quarterback and you win. But they're figuring
right.
that out. They're working on that. Anyway, so back to my point. Samuel's a great receiver, right? The physicality that he has when he catches the ball, the broken tackles, phenomenal. I only seen that in one other player, AJ Brown, that I really liked. Just how people go try to tackle him, and he acted like they didn't even touch him, and they'd fall to the ground, and he'd continue to run.
Right.
Debo is that guy. He's that physical guy. A little scary at times with injuries, but one of the most physical receivers I've seen. So he's going to do great with the ball in his hands. He's going to score touchdowns. He's going to be able to make some great catches. That's not a terrible pick. Klatt did good. He's got two pretty solid guys with some pretty decent upside, especially with Hunt asking for a trade. I mean, Hunt can completely, I don't see it, but, the team can get sour on Hunt and just go with Chubb all day. And then same thing, Samuel could get the carries like Scott's saying. And wow, Klatt looks like a fucking genius getting him in the second round. So not
Right. I
terrible.
agree.
Um, I worry about it. To me, those guys feel like tier 2 guys, but they definitely could be tier 1. And like I said, make
In
Klatt
a
look like the
heartbeat.
best
In a
goddamn
heartbeat.
drafting guy in the
Right.
world. So
Right. So next, we're going back to Sapp over there. He went wide receiver again and got CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the number one wide receiver right now in Dallas. Mari Cooper went to Cleveland. CeeDee Lamb was a beast last year. He had my little concerns about him. He does have a little bit of the dropsies on the easy catches there, but I mean it's a solid pick where CeeDee's at. You should be right in there in the second round if you're looking for a wide receiver. Again, nearly 1,000 yards last year, um, so he did well. Now this year kind of concerns me a little bit. With the wide receiver core being thin. When they got the rookie Jalen Tolbert. Also, you know, I mean, they do have Dalton Schultz over there, but is CD going to be double covered a lot? I mean, that's what my major concern with him. And I don't know, Polka. What do you think? You think it was a good pick for him to get CD there at number,
well,
his number two pick?
yes, I do. I think what Sapp did is he went and got the two target monsters in the offenses, right? He got Cooper Cup, and don't get me wrong, Robinson's coming in. He's going to take some of those carries. But last year, it wasn't Woods. It wasn't anybody else. It was Cup. And then you're coming into Dallas, and you're looking at Lamb. You don't have Amari Cooper. You have Gallup out missing a week or two. It's Lamb. So what he did is he got target monsters. If this was PPR, oh, my God, he won the first week, period, hands down.
Right.
It's not, but it's still a solid pick because targets equal yards equals touchdowns equals everything, equals points in fantasy. So I think what Sapp did, he went a little different with his strategy, but I love it. I'm not complaining at all. I would have been happy with that if that was me.
Right. Right. I'm not saying it was a bad pick at all. If I was in his position, I'd definitely be, either looking for a running back or possibly getting, two stud wide receivers.
We'll address this running back situation later, but
Oh yeah, especially his first one. And so we're going back to Bryce there. Stephon Diggs was his pick again. Great pick where Stephon Diggs is at. I like it. Stephon Diggs. 2 years ago when he came, with Buffalo, he was a target machine. He Yeah, man, they almost went to the Super Bowl. So with with his quarterback over there, with his connection, he's going to do great. He had over 1,000 yards. Great pick, Bryce. I mean, I'm very impressed right now where what you're doing there. First time in the league, and especially with with us guys there, you definitely did your work there. Paul, what do you think about Stephon Diggs?
Stephon Diggs, I mean, what can you say? Should have been drafted in the first round. One of the top receivers. Been one of the top receivers. Started off last year kind of slow, but into the year great. So it's Josh Allen, right? It's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league. He's got Diggs, he got Mixon, and I'm not terribly upset with that. If I were him, uh, you know, you worry about injuries, but Diggs is one of the best receivers. Been one of the best receivers the past couple of years when he's been in Buffalo. So, I mean, if you look at what comes after him, Akers, Barkley, Kels, Allen, I'm not really worried about one of those other picks if I got Diggs. So, did a real good job. Um, I would have liked to probably seen Diggs and Lamb flip flop, but Saps is a Cowboys fan, so it went the way it went. So, but no, yeah, as a rookie coming in, he made a solid pick. We'll kind of see him falter a little bit later in the draft, taking a kicker like in the 6th round. But other than that, he did real well so far.
All right, so now we're going to go to Lindsay there. Lindsay picked Cam Akers. Cam Akers, he was there most of the year. Came back pretty much close to the end of the season, going into the Super Bowl. Um, Cam Cam did okay. Came a little strong, I guess, if you want to say that. Towards the end, it's, I'm not solid on her pick on that. I know she's going to give me crap about it, but I would probably go with Aaron Jones or Javante Williams at that point, right over there. Uh, you know, I don't know. Oh, what do you think? I mean, this is your wife, so be careful what you say.
Right. So she's right here. She don't know we're talking about her, but yeah, Cam
Oh,
Akers.
great.
No, I think you know I'm not mad at her picks. Um, I'm worried about her decision because Cam Akers hadn't solidified himself, right? I loved Cam
Right.
Akers coming into the last year. He was going to be my first pick at the end of the first round when I picked 12.
Right.
Because of the injuries, and then because of the timeshare with Henderson and how Henderson did pretty well with it last year, I would worry as my number one running back. You know, like I said, I just worry. I worry. Again, we go into touches, right? Touches equal carries equals touchdowns equals points. Akers is going to have only half those touches. So then he has half the chance to score touchdowns. He has half the chance to score points for as her number one back. And you like to see that number one back to be your guy that you can sit there and not have to worry about. That's why, Henry, Taylor, McCaffrey, Harris, Cook, Eckler are the first backs off the board because everyone don't have to worry about that. They throw those guys in, they're going to get them their consistent points and not have to worry. With her taking Akers right here, she's going to have to keep an eye on him every week and see how the timeshare goes, see how things go. Because if he falls behind, then she's going to make adjustments. And then when you got to make adjustments, and I'm looking at the rest of the roster, we'll get into that. You've got to find other guys or have other guys that can fill in that spot. And if you don't, you've got to be willing to trade someone. And, that's too much, in the first 2 rounds. You don't want to get a guy that you're going to potentially have to trade or have to replace early in the season in that first round. So, I think she's probably texting me. She hears everything I'm
I
saying.
told you.
Um,
I told you.
but that's the thing is, okay. That's the thing is, we're honest. I'm honestly judge myself as well. So anyway,
Excellent.
so I think
All right.
Scott, we're
So
running on we're running on
on some time.
an
Okay.
hour. What I think we're
Okay.
gonna do is just go ahead and keep doing what we're doing with this round.
Okay.
And then we're just
And then
gonna
go.
run through each person's team and give them a
Okay.
grade, right?
All right. Sounds good. All right. So next one's going to be Polk. Polk pick Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is he's been hurt the last couple of years as well. Hasn't he had a monster first year when he came into the league, dominated, and ever since then hasn't been doing too well. This, I believe, is a contract year for him, right?
Yes, it
Oh,
is. And
okay,
that's one of the factors that played into me making that decision. It's a contract year. Barkley was drafted. He was drafted first overall, right? He was drafted to be the guy. Injuries have been a thing. I try to take injuries and just set them aside. You can never predict them. You can never project them. Injury history is a thing, and some people are injury prone. But, you know, Barkley is just a big, strong, tough guy that's going to get all the carries in that offense. If he stays on the field, this is going to look like an amazing pick. If he doesn't, it's going to be, man, he got another person. So I'm shooting for the upside, especially because I went wide receiver in the first round. I had to make a splash in the second round. I had to get a guy that could potentially should have been a first rounder, right? If he has all the carries, if he has all the touches and stays on the field in the second round. So then, I got that wide receiver, that no doubt running back, that no doubt wide receiver, and I can kind of build my team around that. And that's where it was.
right,
I could look real stupid here soon if he gets injured, if someone else steps on his ankle. Then I'm
right,
going to be scrambling. I made some picks later in the draft to hopefully to help that cause, but you never know. Again, like we judge everybody else, I'm I'm iffy.
oh,
It's hard. It's hard to during the draft, during the moment, all these players, all these things. And I think my biggest thing is I look for upside, right? I look for upside in every player. Besides probably that first round pick, I just look for security in that. So if you
right.
can tell, I look for upside in Barkley. I'm looking for upside in Fournette. And then, as you can tell, Thomas, Davis, Pierce, Dillon, Thielen, Mooney.
Right.
So,
Right.
that's part of it. And then we won't talk about that
Agreed.
Sherman pick. He's already
Okay.
been cut. He's already been replaced. So, but
Hey, Paul, I think your visual's out. I can't see you, but I can hear you, so that's okay.
oh, really?
Um, yeah. So Rucker picked got the first tight end off the board, Travis Kelce. Kelsey, you know, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind the pick. Polk and I kind of talked about it a little bit. You know, I know it's Travis Kelsey. I know he's still good, but he is getting up in age. I would probably go on with Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews doesn't have anybody over there. Excuse me, Lamar Jackson doesn't have anybody to throw over there to Andrews, but Andrews. But Travis Kelsey's still not a bad pick. Patty Mahomes is going to be throwing to him a lot. I know they got Juju. I know they got MVS over there, but Kelsey's still a solid machine, still a touchdown machine. Um, you know, until he slows down and not be that reliable guy like he used to be. Not a bad pick. I think. I know he's trying to go kind of like wide receiver a little bit there, but Travis Kelsey still a good pick. Paul, what do you think about Rutgers' pick over there?
Um, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of taking tight end. I don't care if it's Kelsey or Kittle or anything in the first two rounds. But it's Kels. So they lost Hill. They don't have the weapons that they do, and Kels can definitely still be that weapon. He can still be the target monster in that offense. So it's almost like taking a receiver. Man, I think later in the draft, it's gonna be an issue. But it's not a terrible decision. He
Right,
hit with Eckler, so he hits with his tight end, and then he's just got to make good drafts. He's got
right.
to pick up those guys that can fill in spots later in the draft and just hit home runs with those, and then he's
Agreed.
secure in those other two spots. So not a terrible pick.
Mhm,
Just a little early for me, for my personal preference.
mhm. Okay, so let's go to John Little. John Little, man, went QB real quick. Got Josh Allen, the number one, considered the number one quarterback right now this year, depending on what 80 polls that you're looking at. But he got Josh Allen there. What's to say about it? The man can run, the man can throw. He's got Stephon Diggs over there. Tyler Gabriel is now going to be the number two wide receiver over there. Dawson Knock is now going to be considered a target since OJ Howard got released. OJ Howard not there. They let him go this week, which was a big surprise with the big guy.
Hold on, Scott. I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just go down the list real quick. So yeah, he's got Josh Allen over there.
No, I got something to say about him, but
okay, all right.
Let me get it through. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm excited. Josh Allen. Sorry, Little. You made the worst decision so far in the draft. You drafted a quarterback. Let me tell you a fun fact. Quarterback. So between the number 1 quarterback last year and the number 10 quarterback, the only difference was 4 points each game. 4 points. That's not going to win you a league. A kicker could get you 4 fucking points. A defense could get you 4 fucking points. A bench player is going to get you 4 fucking points. So you taking a quarterback in the second round. Unfortunately, you lost the draft already. I love you, Little. I love you to death. But that was a terrible decision by taking Josh Allen. Guys, do not do like Little. Do not lose your draft in the second round right away, instantly, by taking a quarterback, because you can get a quarterback in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round that's going to score just 4 points less than the number 1 quarterback in the league. So don't make that decision.
Definitely.
Don't be terrible. I love you, Little. You're a great person. But that was a terrible draft decision. I think it was too many beers. Anyway, all right.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I would let you know that Little pick, quarterback last year in the 3rd round. I mean, he did make the playoffs. So, but I got to agree with Polk. You don't need to get a quarterback in the 2nd round. You could have got so many people, wide receivers, number 1 wide receiver. If you wanted Andrews, you could have got him, right after him. Allen would have been there. He would have been there probably in the 3rd or 4th round, maybe 5th. I wouldn't have a problem with that. So now we're going to go to Wellborn. Wellborn got Javonte Williams, was the guy that I was looking to get. He was, he's one of my guys I wanted to get there. He is splitting carries with Melvin Gordon. Wellborn, I think that's a great pick. I'm sure you were deciding between Aaron Jones and him. I think Williams is going to be, a breakout player eventually. One day Melvin Gordon's going to be gone. He's going to be taking all the carries over there, and he's going to be doing some screens. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff for that team this year. I don't think Melvin Gordon is going to hurt him a lot. I think it's going to benefit him a little bit more. So, Wellborn, great job, man. I mean, I'm not mad at that pick, Holt.
Fucking steal. Wellborn, just a steal. Wow. Najee Harris and Javonte Williams. That's great. Williams should have left at least before Kelson Allen. That's who you should have been considering as Kels. But wow, I mean, good job. Good job. You got a potential top 3 back right there in the 2nd round. I love the pick. I love the potential. Melvin Gordon was almost released, went to other teams, talked about it. Then he couldn't find anything else. And so they decided to bring him back for like a little security blanket. But it's Javonte Williams' team. They bring in a quarterback. They have the receivers. I think he's going to have a special year for you to just solidify your 2 backs right there. You got Harris and Williams as your number 2. You're not going to have to worry about running backs this season. So I guess you got far away from that 0 running back strategy that you've tried like twice. So good job.
All right. So let's go to.
I'm impressed, but let's move on.
Okay, so next pick is going to be Joe. Joe Ari. Got Aaron Jones, his Green Bay Packer. He's a big Green Bay Packer fan. So, I mean, he was already telling me, he's like, I'm going to go all running back. I'm going to get running backs as much as I can. So, Aaron Jones fell his lap. I think that's a great pick for him. He's going to be used a lot this year. They're going to use him running. A lot of people are concerned with his handcuff. A.J. Dillon being there may hurt him a little bit. I don't think so. I mean, they don't have a lot of choices out there in Green Bay. They lost their big target, Devontae Adams. So Jones is going to be used a lot. And, Oh, what do you think about Joe's pick, real quick? Light that stogie up,
Um,
buddy.
Hey,
Yeah,
big fan of Aaron Jones. AJ Dillon's a
yeah,
monster. AJ Dillon's going to take some of those goal line carries, maybe a couple touchdowns, but catch the ball out of backfield. It's Aaron Jones' job, right? A lot of
right.
times running the ball is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is the guy. He's been a back that Green Bay brought back on a limited salary, but he's just he's done phenomenal with what he's had. I think he's a really good back. Right there in the second round, stacking him with McCaffrey, just solid. That's beautiful. If this is a PPR, I mean, my gosh, you're making playoffs right there with those two if they stay healthy. So I love the pick right there. I love Aaron Jones right there. Good job, Joe. I know you're a Packers fan, so you kind of willed it, but um, I'm impressed.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. This is going to be Cody's pick there. Cody went running back again. He got James Conner. James Conner in the beginning of the year took off. He did come from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh let him go because he wasn't doing a job over there. But when he came to Arizona and played with Colin Murray and those guys over there, him and Chase Evans were teammates there. He won that job and started scoring touchdowns. He had the potential to be, again, a top first rounder over there, but got started falling off a little bit. And I think where his pick, where he's at right there, um, I don't know. At this point, I probably would have gone with Devontae Swift and got him. And what?
No, yeah, I agree. Connor Swift
Okay,
or Connor, yeah, all day. I
right,
think Connor
right.
falls off
So
this year, but well, yeah,
yeah, I agree with you. So, Paul, what do you think?
yeah, same
Do
thing.
you think
I'd like to see Swift there. Um,
yeah,
right, Swift has a better line. Connor was huge. Connor had huge touchdown upside. This is like the first season that Connor actually made like 80% of the games. I know the
yeah,
dude has battled his way through cancer and all that, and that's great. And that's phenomenal. Great story. Awesome. At the same time, we're realists, right? He has not been the most productive back. He wasn't the most productive back when he was over there trying to fill in for Le'Veon Bell.
mhm,
That's why they drafted Najee Harris. That's why they let Connor go. Connor's just kind of filling in with that offense. Now he was the best back on the team last year with Edmonds, but who's to say he's the best back on the team this year? He had huge touchdown upside. What do you have, like 14 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, something ridiculous.
right, right,
That
right. And
he
that's
had
what a
some
lot of
carries
people
that
are
went
looking
like
at him.
30 yards for a touchdown. I don't think that happens this year. I don't like him there. He got Elliott. I'd have liked to maybe seen Elliott there or Swift there. Swift there for sure. Um, Even taking the stretch on like someone terrible like Fournette or Josh Jacobs. And I'm not saying Fournette's terrible. I can't believe he fell to me where he did, but yeah, I don't like the pick. You did good with Henry, but then you go and just take a fucking I don't know. I think you take a whiff at Connor right there, which sucks.
Agreed. Agreed. So next one's going to be Tater. Tater rounds it off with CEH over Hilaire. Again, he has a lot of injuries that they had to bring in Rojo for backup insurance. Rojo was almost getting cut, um, but they got Isaiah as well over there. They're saying CEH going to have a breakout year this year, but they said that last year. Oh, do you believe? And one thing, Tater, I would have gone with. I'll be honest with you. I would have gone with Elliott. I know that's kind of a double-edged sword over there. Elliott had the greatest year since he got had his contract, but he has. I don't know. I don't like where it's at. I understand what he was doing. He's trying to get two running backs and it's solid. He is the number one, running back. No, he's not a number one. He's an RB2 definitely for me, but I don't know, man. I probably would have gone wide receiver and then try to get. I mean, Swift was there. So, Paul, what do you think?
Um, I think what happened is Taylor knew the name Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He knew the offense, and he drafted him for that reason. Um, there's other backs that should have been taken. Swift should have been taken. We talked about it. Swift should have been taken 2 picks before. So Taylor may have not, been planning for the opportunity to have Swift there and just didn't think about it. If I was Taylor, Swift, or Fournette or Jacobs would have been the
Right.
back I took there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Yeah.
he's just tried to be the guy for 3 years, and he hadn't been. Um,
Yeah.
the team has brought in other people just because Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not been able to perform. Maybe he breaks out. Maybe it's his year. Maybe, it clicks. Maybe he gets a little faster and actually gets a little bit better vision and can break tackles this year. But it's not likely. So what I would have liked to seen Taylor do is take Taylor and take Swift. Right. Undisputed right there. Taylor, it looks like and I've said this before, a fucking genius.
Genius. Yeah.
He looks like he knows what he's doing. He takes them two, and then he comes back around and gets Evans or Higgins, right there. And then Taylor, I'm worried then at that point. Taylor gets those guys, I'm worried. The Taylor knows what he's doing, and he's ready for a championship this year. But he didn't. He took Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who should go in the 3rd or 4th round, who should falter. And then he took Tyreek Hill, who, a couple years ago was drafted as a top wide receiver, which is great, but he's on a new team. He's got competition with Waddle if Waddle can be on the field. So we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. He don't have a quarterback that can just completely unleash the cannon and throw it 80 yards. So it should be interesting. I think Hill isn't terrible right there, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I feel like he could have done better.
Right. So, Paul, since we're running a little bit low on time, I'm going to run down Tater's list and go through everybody. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about where his picks were, and then same with you, and then we're going to grade them real quick. Okay?
Yeah, let's shoot down the list. Just spit them out, and then we'll give them a grade and just kind of talk about key points. Like you name 1 or 2 spots, players you liked or didn't like or whatever, and then we'll kind of rock on, yeah?
Right. So Tater got, like I said, Paul said Tyreek Hill. He got Harris, Amari Cooper, Juju Smith, Dawson Knox, Naeem Hines, Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry,
David Njoku.
Yeah, Lockett, Peoples-Jones. I can't even see who that is. Daniel Jones as a backup quarterback. Gross. Saints. For his kicker, he got Koo, and he got Ingram. Rounded it off there. Polk.
Yeah. So we talked about it. Picked Najee Harris too early. Made a great steal right there with Juju Smith-Schuster. I think that's phenomenal where he got him. He's going to have possible number 1 receiver that's going to replace Amari Cooper, because I don't think Amari Cooper has the quarterback of the team to do it. And then got Lockett real late. I think you got Peoples-Jones a little too early. That guy is going to go undrafted. I don't know why you're touching him. You got Cooper. So crazy. And then Daniel Jones, who's going to be undrafted. But I do like your kicker pick, Young Hoku. I think the dude's going to be booting it plenty often this season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that.
Let's give Tater a B-.
I'm going to agree with you, a B-. This is probably the best draft that he has done since he started our league. I'm proud of you, Tater. I mean, you did your research. You stepped it up. You told I remember you telling Polk and I that you've been studying. You've been doing great. I'm proud of you, man. Good job. All right, so next one's going to be Cody.
Hold on. Let's
I'm sorry. All right.
I'm just letting the guys know we're actually fucking. I got alcohol. Terrible, right?
Good.
I'm actually letting them know that we're shooting out the grades now. Just kind of so they can possibly
do it again, or give us comments on there and everything, and tell us what you think about it.
Yep.
All
So
right. So what's next? Cody. All right. Cody got. Sorry. Cody got Zeke Elliott, Marseille Brown. Uh, he said you got Hall, Jalen Hurts, Brandon Ayuk, and then he got A Rob, which is a great pick there. Rashard Penny, I think that was a great pick over there as well. And then he goes down and gets more Pickens. That's a reach over there. Got Isaiah Pakachu. I mean, I'm terrible at this.
who?
Pronouncing names there. Is that how you say it? The
Pacho?
running back for
Pacho?
Pacho.
Pacho.
Yeah,
Yeah, Pacho or
yeah. Jarvis Landry, Packers defense, Gainwell,
yes.
which I
We're
messed up in getting him there, and then Tyler Higbee. Polk, what do you think about Cody's rest of his draft?
I love the 3 running back. I don't like Connor, but I think Elliott. A lot of people are knocking Elliott. Elliott is still the back of that offense. That offense don't have a passing game, so I think I think they lean on the run a little bit, even if they're missing their left tackle. So I think Elliott moves up to that 2 spot. So we got Henry and Elliott, which is a solid combination, and then Connor over there in the flex, which isn't bad, especially if he keeps some of those touchdowns. I love St. Brown. I think St. Brown's going to be a great receiver. I think the line's going to hold up. They lost what Cephas, or they lost one of their lead receivers early in the preseason. One of those guys was on the team
but they
last
got
year.
DJ Moore over there. They got DJ Moore over there now. So
no, they don't. In Detroit,
yeah,
DJ Moore.
Pretty sure he is. I'm not DJ Moore. I'm sorry. Chalk. Sorry.
Okay, DJ Shark. Irrelevant since his first year in the league. But
right.
So no, I really like Brown. I think Brown's gonna be good. He got Hall, who can be a starter, but I don't think he is the starter on that team right now. I still think it's Michael team. So then he went and got Hurts, who's an 11, 12 quarterback. Ayuk, Robinson. I think Robinson has some upside, especially Penny. So he didn't do terrible right there. So right now, Cody looks really good on running backs. He's got one receiver. Is that DJ Moore down there? Who is that?
I believe that is. I cannot really tell who that is, but it's got to be DJ Moore. I don't think that
no
is.
way DJ Moore went that late.
No, DJ Moore went on Joe's round. So, okay. I don't know what Moore that is, to be honest with you.
Probably a Jets receiver or something. Anyway, so we can get Cody to comment here in a minute. Pickens, I think, has upside. He's a rookie though. So and then you got Landry who's out. So I think Cody's really hurting on wide receiver. I think if he would have went and got if he could have got maybe a Sutton right there and then waited another round on St. Brown, he would have looked like a fucking genius. He'd had the 3 running backs, he'd have had 2 receivers, and then just managed with everything else, right? So Cody's kind of scrambling. He's been dropping and picking up constantly. That's because he's not satisfied, because he knows that he is missing something. He's stretched on a few of these players. Ayuk, who don't know the offense, right? He can't figure his way into the offense. Pickens, who's a rookie, you're just not sure about. Landry, who's trying to catch on to a team that's he's past his prime, and the team's already trying to get younger. So he's just hoping. So we'll see if he's able to land a trade, and then his only tight end is Higbee, which is super gross.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Gainwell, him getting Gainwell at the end was great.
He didn't get Gainwell. Scott, you actually got Gainwell. If you look right here, you actually drafted Gainwell. You wrote it in. I don't know what happened there. I think y'all had too much sauce.
So I had a little bit too much Fireball that day. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so that was when I was putting it in. It was kind of an issue. I was like, "What's going on? Who got Gainwell first?" So, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just think
Okay.
he's hurting at a lot of positions beside running back. He did really good this year, and he solidified his running backs, but he didn't solidify anything else. And so right now, I'm going to have to give Cody a C plus.
I'm going to give Cody a C minus. He's hurting on wide receivers pretty bad there. I mean, Robinson, I don't know. I have to give him a C minus. So he's just hurting. I don't like his quarterback pick with Jalen Hurts there, and he only had. I mean, he's only got one quarterback right now, backup quarterback. So Jalen Hurts to me is not a great quarterback in my opinion. I know everybody thinks he's going to be a top 10 quarterback
That's
because he got AJ
whether your
Brown. I don't
opinion.
agree
I
with
mean,
that.
he got
Right.
a quarterback that can be top 15. Well, he drafted him a little early. He didn't have to get him that
Yeah.
early, but
Right.
you know, uh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's C minus in my book, man. Sorry.
okay, C plus. Sorry,
All
Cody.
right.
Do better,
All
but he
right.
will. Cody's one that scavenges the waiver wire. Uh,
Yep.
the dude always, he always ends up with a playoff team. So right on.
Right. All right. So let's go on to Joe's picks over here. Joe got DeAndre Swift. That's a skill for him. He's got Keenan Allen. There's DJ Moore there. I can't tell who this Johnson is. Can you tell me who that is, Colt, for wide receiver?
Johnson.
He's got it's Johnson. Okay.
Uh,
Uh,
Johnson for Steelers.
okay. All right. So Deontay Johnson, and
Yep.
then uh,
Herbert,
Hibbert,
Ertz,
and
Patterson, Gross, Drake
yep.
London,
Sorry.
Alexander Madison, Traylon
Yep.
Burks, J.D.
Yep.
McKissick, Williams. He wrote in.
Jamal Williams.
Okay, McManus and the Broncos.
Right. So, all right. So, Joe, I do like your wide receiver pick with Allen. Um, depending on Johnson there, Deontay Johnson, so we'll see how he does. Which quarterback is going to do good there? I think you're hurting a little bit on wide receivers. Uh, getting Madison that late, it's not bad. J.D. McKissick as well. But Drake London is the number one. I think that's a good pick. Getting him that late, I'm gonna have to give you just a C, man. What about you?
For Joe. Uh,
Yeah,
I really like McCaffrey, Swift, and Jones. So that right there is going to definitely solidify him as a C. Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, two pretty solid pass catching bats. If this is a PPR, Joe blows it out of the fucking water, right? Ertz, who may
right.
not play week one, and if he does play week one, he's not going to be 100%. But Herbert, who's a solid quarterback, still, I just think it's a little early, but that's not a terrible round to get one of those top three guys, right? Patterson, who I don't think is going to do it again. Drake London, who is the number one, who is going to be one of the only guys catching the ball out of that team. Madison, he missed on. Traylon Burks, who they want to use. J.D. McKissick, who catches the ball in the backfield. Williams is just a handcuff. McManus and Broncos. So all in all, I'm not upset about his team at all. I like what he did with his running backs, and I think he could carry these into the playoffs. I think if these guys stay on the field, they can carry him into the playoffs. That right there is going to move him up to a B. I like his receiving core, and I like his quarterback. Now, what he does with his tight end, Ertz can be one of those guys, but he just don't have much depth. All in all, when it comes to if one of his backup running backs go down, he's going to be scrambling because Madison or McKissick aren't the answer. He don't have any other answer, and Williams not either. So he don't have any other answer beside those guys. He didn't get A.J. Dillon to take care of Jones' spot, which would have been one of the better decisions right around where he should have taken him, probably around where he took Herbert. So we're going to give Joe a B minus. Love his running backs. Like I said, I like his receivers, but I worry. If something happens to one of those starting guys, he don't have the backup to be able to fill in that role.
All right, I agree with you. So let's go over next personnel. Wellborn. Wellborn got Evans, Higgins, Sutton, Pitts, Singletary, Lamar Jackson as his quarterback, um, Stevenson, Olive. I'm not sure what Robinson that is. Trey Lance is his backup quarterback. Gross. Dustin, Buckner, Patriots defense, and Deshaun Watson. No, not Deshaun Watson. Um, just Watson. I'm not sure who that is. So not. I'm not too bad. I mean, I think he got Sutton had a great round. I thought Sutton should go a little bit earlier than that. Piss again, like you mentioned with Atlanta, they're not going to have a lot of you know wide receiver help, so he's going to get some targets on that one. And getting Lamar Jackson that late, that's a great pick for him. He went a little different this year. I know last year he got a quarterback early, so great job getting him that late. Um, I'm gonna have to give I'm gonna have to give Will Warren I'll give him a B minus.
Okay.
What do you think, Paul?
Love the running backs. Love the two running backs, right? Najee, we have his concerns, but at the end, I think he just solidified it, made it that much better with getting Javonte Williams in the second, right? Makes
Right.
Wellborn look really smart, which he's not. So Evans, I have concerns about Evans and his hamstring, but Evans has consistently been 1,000-yard receiver. So Evans and
Right.
Higgins, wow. What
Right.
Wellborn does is take a guy that's borderline, and then he sets there and solidifies it with his very next pick and makes them look just phenomenal together. What he did with Williams and Harris, and what he's doing with Higgins and Evans. So I really like, looking at him as a whole, I really like his running back core and wide receiver core, right? Looking at them separately, if you look at Harris, you look at Evans, you're like, all right, they have their issues, but as a group, as two running backs, two wide receivers, wow, it's like the guy's got it figured out. He goes ahead and solidifies it with Sutton. I think is a phenomenal pick that late in the draft. I think he's going to be a number one receiver. Got a great moonball quarterback. We've talked about that many times on the show. Cortland Sutton is going to be one of those top round guys. Gonna probably replace Evans by the end of the year as his number one receiver if Higgins don't already do it. So I think he did phenomenal with that right there, especially after taking two running backs in the first two rounds. Just great potential. And then he goes and picks Pitts, which is definitely could be the offensive leader on that team, where the team's trying to find their identity. Their identity is Pitts, right? They drafted him to be that guy. He's going to be that guy. Now, usually it takes 2 to 3 years. It takes about 3 years for a tight end to really catch on as Hawkinson. But Pitts is just that much more of an athlete, right? He's that phenomenal. He's that great. So he could catch on quicker, and it could be his year, especially after last year. Now Singletary could be the starters. They play around with Cook. They want Cook to be the guy. They want Singletary to be the guy. They want Moss to be the guy. So if Singletary gets the majority of the carries, then that's going to work out, and he's going to have a decent little backup. Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is going to be a solid backup. Lamar Jackson, cheat code, right? He runs the ball. As long as he stays on the field, he's just going to get that many more points for him. Chris Olave is a rookie, so you just never know. Robinson got shot, so that's unfortunate. Trey Lance. So what he did is he got a running quarterback, and then he went and solidified it with a running quarterback. Hopefully nothing happens to both of them, right? Wellborn. That would be real unfortunate. And then Butker, Patriots, and who is that? Is that
Watson? I don't know what Watson that is.
What I can't tell the color.
Look behind you.
So yeah, huh?
Look behind you. The color's wide receiver.
Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, I forget this back here. Christian Watson. So Green Bay wide receiver.
Hey, that's not a bad pick at the end. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna be honest. I think besides Brian Robinson getting shot, right? I love the draft. Brian Robinson was probably going to be the starter. I love what he did all the way down for the most part, halfway through the draft. Now he started stretching when he got another running quarterback, which is fine. I mean, that's not terrible, right? If Trey Lance really becomes a guy, he's got one or two of the same running quarterback. And then, he stretched with Dotson and Watson, but and Olave, but he did good everywhere else. Everywhere he has his starters, and he has some guys that he stretched just but they could break out, right? They could have that potential. That
Right,
rookie's
right.
young. They could, they could be those guys. So he did well with his upside. I'm actually
Yeah,
going to give Welborn a B plus. I'm really impressed, even though I think he take a little hit with Harris. Everything else,
yeah.
he went ahead and solidified that, and it looked really good so far. So got a great starting
Okay.
lineup. Every year, I worry about playing Welborn, and then he always shoots himself in the foot. So I'm
Right.
looking forward to
Agreed.
it this year.
Okay, so next is going to be John Little. Little went with Mark Andrews, Pollard, Metcalf, Brandon Cooks, Pace Evans, Robert Woods, James Cook, McPherson as his kicker, Michael Gallup. I think that's a great pick for him over there at this slate. Buccaneers defense, Marlon Mack, which he got cut from the Houston Texans, Ravens, and let's see, Wilson. Not sure what Wilson that is. And then Humphrey. All right. So, Polk, I'm going to let you grade him real quick and go down and tell me what you think.
Okay, Little. Yeah, so I like the pick with the Cook, but I talked about I didn't like the pick with Allen. Then we go to Andrews, which I think is potentially the best tight end right now on the board. And then he backs it up with Pollard and Metcalf and Cooks and Edmonds. Wow. McPherson is probably the next best player that I like. Um,
Yeah.
Cook and Andrews. And then I don't know. Did someone give a little too many shots? Well, we're gonna go. I'm gonna give Little a D, and I'm not even gonna run through his team.
Okay. So,
Marlon Mack's not
yeah.
on a team. Gallup ain't playing week one. James Cook
Yeah,
don't
I
even
heard
know
it.
where he's playing in that offense. Yeah, Woods is good. Edmonds might be the starter on a team that has 100 people like him. Metcalf
Right.
don't even have a quarterback. Pollard ain't even starting running back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're gonna move on.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna have to go with the D2 there. That's it's I'm not solid with his running backs. I mean, geez, I mean he had a great first pick, and then he went got Allen. Sorry, buddy. D it is. Let's go to Rucker. Rucker, you got Alan Lazard, Antonio Gibson, Joe Burrow. Uh, I believe that's Allen Robinson. Got the Rams defense, Henry Renfro, Raheem Mostert, um, Gillespie there, Dak Prescott as his quarterback. Bills defense, he got a second defense, Odell Beckham Jr. He's not playing for a team. Aaron Rodgers as his backup. Um, I can't, is that Logan Thomas? And
Logan
then
Thomas.
Crosby. Okay, Crosby as his kicker there. All
Okay,
right.
I got a quick question, Rucker.
Sure.
Allen
Oh,
Lazard
sorry.
or Terry McLaurin?
Scary Terry for me, buddy. That's why I got him.
Right. So, Rucker, if you're listening, Allen Lazard or Terry McLaurin? Allen Lazard or Travis Etienne? Allen Lazard or Pittman? Allen Lazard or Waddle? Allen Lazard or Higgins? Because those are all guys that you could have had before you drafted Allen Lazard and still got Allen Lazard.
Mm-hmm.
Way too soon, man. Way too soon, buddy. Great job with Eckler. Interesting with Kels, but you got the number one tight end, right? I don't think you had to have him right there. You could have got him in the third round. You could have got someone else. You could have got Javonte. You could have stacked Eckler, Javonte, and Kels, and then went and got Pittman,
Right.
and then dropped down and got Gabe Davis, or Sutton. Is that? And I think he said that Sky Moore. That's gross too.
Oh, that's right. Sky Moore. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, hey, teach their own. You're the champion. You won it last year. Great job.
Right.
You got Burrow to do it again, but I'm sorry, Rucker. We're gonna give you a D, or I'm gonna give you a D. I'm gonna give you. Damn, I don't know who's worse. You were little, Gibson. So you got lucky that he's a starter. We'll give you a D plus.
Okay. He's going to give you a D plus, Parker. I'm going to give you a C minus, man. He's right. You could have got all these other wide receivers. Kelsey, you could have waited a little bit. To God, I don't think you jumped the gun on that one a little bit. You could have got somebody else. Great job getting Burrow. Great job getting Robinson. I like Renfro. Mostert getting that late over that late. That's not bad. I just don't think you needed three tight ends. Um, I got Prescott as your backup there. You got the two top defenses. That's cool. I mean, you only get to play one.
Two
On
defenses, three
Barkley.
tight ends. That Rucker.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. His defenses is both of them are bye weeks on 7. Oh wow,
Yep.
that sucks. Okay, well, at least you can drop a tight end. So C minus for you,
So,
buddy. Sorry.
hey guys, if y'all didn't draft a defense, you get one that was drafted here pretty soon when Rucker drops one.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're gonna go to, excuse me, Cole. I'm gonna go down his list real quick, and you know what his grade's gonna be. Fournette, Michael Thomas, Davis, Pierce, Dillon, Thielen, Mooney, oh my God, Algier,
Algier.
Tua, Ryan, yeah, Vermouth,
Vermouth.
Sermon, Blankenship, and Dolphins defense. Well, I know what your grade is. Go ahead and say it.
It was an interesting year. I got a good receiver. I think I got two good backs that'll be able to start all year. Both of them has had injuries. So Michael Thomas is a high floor. Gabe Davis, same thing. And then I got Damon Pierce, who has luckily became the starter. And I got A.J. Dillon, one of the best handcuffs, one of the only handcuffs left in the league. Thielen has been a productive guy. Darnell Mooney may be the only guy that catches the ball on offense. Algier, if something happens to Patterson, Algier could be the guy. Now they signed Drake, so this draft happened before they signed Drake. Tua's got a lot of options. Matt Ryan, I had to back him up with the actual real quarterback. Fairmouth, I have a lot of hope in. Trey Sermon has been dropped already. I think I picked up the tight end, Isaiah Likely. Blankenship's been dropped. I picked up Joseph, the kicker, and then I got Dolphins defense. So this is actually I'm every year. I mean, I don't know. I like what I did. I think I have backs. If they can stay in, I've got backs, and I have a little bit of a little wiggle room with Dillon. So and then I was able to get some starting wide receivers so that I can use one of those as possibly my flex instead of a back. Something that I don't like to do, but something that I can do this year.
Man, you're going to give you an honest grade? Wow, go ahead. I want to hear this.
I'm gonna go with a B. I took a lot of risk taking Barkley as high as I did.
Right.
Now the upside is there, and Fournette, same thing. He had the runs, he has all the carries in that offense, but he missed 5 games, 6 games last season. So
Right.
I've got those have to stay on the field, or I don't make playoffs. Right. I have it in wide receivers, and I have Pierce, and I have a good handcuff. But those guys can't completely take that load on if something happens to my first guys. So that kind of hurts me in depth wise. Now, same thing with my receivers. I got a lot of high floor guys or high ceiling guys, and then potentially could be low floor, medium floor guys. So we'll see. I give myself a B.
Okay. Awesome. So, Polk, I love your wide receivers other than Michael Thomas. I think it's a little risk with him. I mean, you don't know, man. I mean, if he comes out and dominates like he did, when he first came out with Drew Brees.
Hey, to be honest, Scott, I wanted Higgins there, but I drafted Chase.
Right. I remember that. So I think Gabriel Davis, where you got him out, is pretty good. Adam Thielen, that was a steal. Darnell Mooney, I know he's the number 1 wide receiver over there. If Justin Fields can, be protected and he can actually throw the ball, Mooney's going to be looking good. you got solid wide receiver for. I'm not confident with your running backs there with Barkley. You're taking a chance, like you said, with him. Fournette, I think he's still. I know you give him a little shit sometimes, but I think Fournette still solid. I love AJ Dillon's pick over there. Here's I don't know too much about him on there. Trey Sermon, and you could have got you know you could have got something else out of that. I mean, you could have got maybe I don't know Oli. No, Oli going too quick there. Sorry. You could have got Devontae Parker in this place. I mean, I don't know. Uh, your tight end, I love it. I agree with you. I think he's going to have a good year. He had a great year towards the end of the season. So, Hulk, I'm gonna give you a B minus on yours there, just because I'm not confident with your running backs over there. So we're gonna go on to Lindsay. Lindsay, she got Miles Sanders, Waddle, Kittle, George Kittle as a tight end, MVS. I don't know what Walker that is. Christian Kirk, Tom Brady as their quarterback. Not sure what Williams is that one. Noah Fant, Marcus Callaway,
Daryl
Matt Gay
Williams.
as their. I'm sorry, who?
Daryl Williams.
Darrell Williams. Okay. Matt Gay, Trevor Lawrence is backup quarterback, Vikings, and Pascal, which I think that's a nice little pick for towards the end. Number 2 wide receiver over there. Oh, your wife a great over there.
So let me see. Adams, I'd have liked to seen her get the quarterback car. Akers, Sanders. I don't like her running back room. I think she missed on both of those. Unfortunately, Akers is in timeshare. Sanders. I mean, Sanders he was drafted to be the guy, but he's never been the guy. Waddle, I really like that pick there, but he may not even play week 1. Kittle, she did really good getting a great tight end later in the draft. Valdez Scantling, I think, has high upside for that team. He's one of the bigger receivers, like 6'5", can run the route. So if Juju ain't got the guy, Valdez Scantling can be the guy. Walker. So where's she at? Walker, Ken Walker. Yeah. Is that the third? Is that the Seahawks running back? So she got a little upside right there. She was able to hopefully steal a guy later in the draft that could be the starter towards the end. Christian Kirk going to be the number 1 receiver. Go ahead. Penny's going to get injured. We're not. It's not a question of when. It's just how.
I agree with you on that. Walker. I'm sorry. Walker was going to be my guy. I don't know why he went with Gainwell. That's when I started drinking a little bit too much Fireball. Yep. Exactly.
Christian Kirk, got paid to be the guy, so we'll see if he's the guy. I like their offense. I watched one of the. So the great thing is I lay down at night and my wife goes instantly to sleep, Lindsay, and so I sat there and watched the preseason games. I watch old NFL games. I watch things. If they use Christian Kirk like they were able to use some of the other pieces, they were able to move the ball. The game I watched the other night. Then Christian Kirk might not have a bad year. They paid him to be the guy, so hopefully he'll be the guy. Tom Brady's finally back with the team. He is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, no matter what. So she did good right there. You got Williams, Daryl Williams.
Daryl Williams.
Yeah, I don't know. Noah Fant. So Fant is the tight end for the Seahawks offense. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Marquez Callaway. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he can. I mean, so she missed. She drafts, and that's the only problem with her is she has top tier guys, and then she misses the mid tier guys and grabs low tier guys, or she has top tier guys and then she has 1 or 2 top tier guys and then gets her mid tier guys a little too early and then falls to the bottom. I don't know, her butter, the cream and the butter don't separate like it's supposed to be. Not a terrible draft. One of the better ones I've seen. I really enjoy her wide receiver core, but I really worry about her running back core. So I'm actually going to give her a C. C. We're going to go with C minus. Again, I love her wide receivers, and they may carry her, but she's just not well rounded. I don't think she has all the pieces to just be a solid team in the 12th fantasy league.
Okay. What was the grade?
C minus.
Mm. Mm. Okay, so Lizzie, love your first pick, Adams. Not a big fan of Sanders at all. He's screwed me
Delonte
in the
Scott.
past. And I'm sorry. Waddle. I think that was a great pick. Kittle, of course, a great pick. MVS has a good chance. And Walker, I think that was a steal. I wanted him. I waited too long to get him. I, Hulk's right. He's going to be eventually the guy over there. Tom Brady.
And that's my thing is I was going to take Walker, and then she took him, and I had to take Dylan. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Right. I mean, why would you?
Oh no, I took Dylan.
Right.
Okay. I'm a piece of shit.
You took Dylan first. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's a great steal. Anyways, I was going to get Walker, and she took him. So, and then from down there, it just goes downhill. Trevor Lawrence is not a bad pick for your backup quarterback. Vikings defense, uh, it's a hit and miss with those guys. Pascal, I think it's good. Lindsay, I'm going. I, I'm not going to be as
I mean,
harsh.
she took Kirk. She could have had Thielen. She could have had Renfro. She could have Woods.
Right.
Lamar
Right.
Jackson. I think there's Mooney. There's Stafford, Penny, Stevenson. There's a lot of guys that she should have taken. Of course, we also seen Bryce throwing Tucker right before that. She was probably like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then drafted Christian Kirk.
Exactly.
She could have got Christian Kirk 3 rounds later.
Right. Exactly. So you said C minus. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to go with C minus as well. I mean, your running backs is really weak. Sorry, Lindsay. All right, so let's go on to Bryce. Bryce, I love his first 2 picks there with Mixon, Diggs, AJ Brown. I'm a fan of him. I don't like where he's at, but I think it's still a good pick there. I mean, I probably would have gone with. Probably would have gone with Pittman or Scary Terry with that one. You got Eli Mitchell, Schultz, Kyler Murray as the quarterback. I'm sorry, Dalton Schultz as the tight end, Kyler Murray as your quarterback, Justin Tucker, first kicker off the board. I think it's a little too early for you. I do like Henderson there. I'm not sure which more is that one. Tooney.
Elijah Moore. And Joe took DJ.
Okay. Elijah Moore there. That's okay. Tooney. I think it's a great. I'm not a fan of him, but I think that's a good pick for him over there. Let's see. You got Herbert running back there. Carter. Ryan Tannehill, Titans, and Tolbert.
Yeah.
What's his grade there?
All right, Bryce. So I really like your mix and pick. Mitchell. I had Mitchell last year. I like Mitchell. The only concern is he going to play every single game? You have to worry about that. I think you did good with your wide receivers. I think Brown was a little early. I think you could have had Pittman before you had AJ Brown. I think you could have waited a round, 2, maybe 3 rounds on AJ Brown, but it is what it is. So I don't mind the Diggs, the Pittman, the Mixon, and the Mitchell base. That's not terrible. It seems like you're going with second stringers. Besides Pittman, I really like Pittman with Matt Ryan this year, but I worry about Michelle and his injuries and Mixon his injuries. And Diggs is good, but AJ Brown on a new team, maybe that's all I'm saying. Schultz, I think Schultz can be one of the top tight ends. I think he is one of the top 5 tight ends this year. So I think that's a really good pick after you've seen Waller and Kittle go. right before Pitts, which is good. I'm glad you didn't take the upside of Hawkinson. You took the best, I think, the best available player right there in tight ends. Kyler Murray, good. Now, I think here's where you started fucking up. You went and took Justin Tucker. You could have had a lot of people. Uh, you're concerned with your running back or you're concerned with your receiver. You could have got Donald Mooney or Ramondre Stevenson or Rashad Penny or James Robinson um, or Bateman or Tooney. I mean, the list goes on and on um, of all the players that, you drafted Tooney later on, which is great, but it goes on and on of all the players you could have had instead of taking a kicker right there. You could have taken a kicker 4 rounds later. Thielen, Renfro, Woods, Jackson.
Right. You could have took a lot more, buddy. That's right. So what's his grade?
Good job, Henderson. I like that you took Carter. I think he's the starter over there. I'm gonna give you a C plus, barring injury that can move up to a B minus real easy.
Right. So I'm not going to be as harsh as Polk was. I think you did a great job in your first year. You got a solid, strong wide receiver for there. But you're like Polk mentioned, your running backs is a little shaky. If Mitchell turns out to be a great and plays, 14 out of 18 games, that's great. But I'm gonna have to give you a B minus, man. I think you did a great job, honestly, your first year. I've seen a lot of rookies go for teams, their favorite teams and drafting them. Didn't know what they're doing. I think you did a great job, so B minus for me.
Yeah, I definitely seen a lot worse.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go to Sat. Sat got David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, which is a reach, Darren Waller. Which Brown is that? Oh, I cannot see what that is.
Marquez.
Hollywood Brown. Yeah, Hollywood Brown, David Carr, Jared Judy, Chase Claypool, Cole Kmet, which I think he heard that from you. Sammy Watkins. Not sure what the Jones is. Devontae Parker, Strong, Chargers defense, and Gross Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, I was sure I was going to get Cole Kmet, and then he went and drafted him, and that just blew my mind because I hadn't seen him go that early in any draft that I've done. Right. So, sat listening to me a little too much for Cole Kmet. That sucks.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him. I'm going to have to give him a C minus. You know what? I might give him C minus on that. Yeah, I have to because his running backs is weak. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to give him a D now because it's weak. I know David Montgomery is the number one running back, but they don't have an offensive line. J.K. Dobbins, they don't know which running back is going to be the number one running back there. I don't even know which Jones this is and Strong. I know he's a rookie, but sorry, man. I'm going to have to give you a D on that one. Your wide receivers is good, but sorry. I know you're going to talk shit to me later and say, "Oh, I've been in the playoffs every week," but I don't think you're going to make it this year, buddy.
Man, I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon and say that you're fucking hurting. You're fucking hurting for running backs. I'm actually out. So I just turned around because I was thinking about offering you a trade. I was like, man, can I get cut for AJ Dillon? It's that bad. So, man, we're gonna go with a D. Love your two starting receivers, right? Cooper Kupp and CeeDee Lamb. Going to be amazing. Going to be staples for your team. You won't have to take those out of your starting lineup. But you worry about a running back. Dobbins just left the field, so I like Dobbins, but he left the field the other day limping. That's a concern. David Montgomery's never been the guy. You had him last year, Waller, great touchdown potential. I think he's really good. I think he can be the guy. Marquez Brown, we'll see how he is with his new quarterback. And then you got Derek Carr, Judy, just guys that really hadn't performed right. Judy, Claypool, Marquez Brown. These are guys that were drafted high, but they never really panned out. So I don't know. I think you just got a little too many of them. And then you got Waller and Komet, which is crazy. That Sammy Watkins that high in the draft, that's gross. Do you even know who he plays for? Ronald Jones got cut. So you got Devontae Parker, cool, I guess. Pierre Strong and the Chargers, and Kenny Galladay. They said Kenny Galladay looks like a mannequin when he was out there running. He was so stiff. The team wants to cut him, but everybody's hurt. So super gross. That's a terrible decision. You'll end up dropping him before the end of the year. Please don't draft him. Please don't do a SAP and draft Kenny Galladay, guys. I've been telling you for 2 years now. Don't do it. Just stop. Okay. Did I give him a grade? Because gross.
Yeah. You said D.
D. Yeah.
I don't know. You might go.
I want to keep what's below D. We'll go F. I don't know.
D minus.
This is one of
D minus.
Don't get me wrong. Love your receivers, but wow, you missed everywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, honestly. Oh man. All right. So let's see. With Waller, I mean, he could have got. Jeez. He could have got Brown. He could have got MBS. Man. It's bad. All right, let's move on to Platt.
And that's not even the pick I'm worried about. Dobbins. He could have had
ETN.
Brees Hall. No, he couldn't have had Isaiah Mitchell. Hunt. No,
he couldn't.
ETN was picked two picks before him.
He could have got Pollard. He could have got Gibson.
Walker, Pierce.
He could have got Harris. Harris is the number one running back over there in New England.
Yeah, for right now. But Ramondre is going to be the guy at the end of the year. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a position because he skipped on running backs early. He's just had some hopefuls. But I think with that, if you do that, if you skip and you go just 2 solid wide receiver picks, your next 4 picks need to fucking secure you some running backs just in case. But anyway, it is what it is.
All right, so let's go down to Clatt. All right, Clatt got Jacobs, gross. Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, Mahomes, Goddard, Gordon. Please tell me that's not Josh Gordon. No, it's not Josh Gordon. Smith.
Melvin Gordon.
Who? Melvin Gordon.
Melvin.
Okay. Which Smith is this?
Devontae.
Oh, I can't say it. Okay. Bateman, Spiller, Minchie, I don't know who that is.
John Minchie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Bass, Colts, Jaguars defense, and Jarwin. Hulk, give me a grade real quick.
Well, no, I like what you did, Clatt. You did better drafting in this position than you did last year too. I like the combination. I'm not a fan of Jacobs, but I like the usage with him and Chubb. That's not a terrible that. You're going to get 10 points a game from each of them, and that's not bad. Deebo Samuel has high upside, so you didn't miss at the wide receiver spot right there either. And then Mike Williams came on the scene last year and was one of the top scoring. He was the number one for the first 8 weeks. So I think, and then Godwin, if he can stay healthy and get on the field, I think you did really well. If Goddard can actually catch some passes, Mahomes is a good quarterback. And then you've got a good backup in Gordon. Man, you've got a good starting lineup. I think you lack depth just a little bit, especially because you drafted 2 fucking defenses late in the draft. But you can always drop one of those. Why would you get the Jaguars defense? Why would you get the Jaguars anything ever? I know you forget about players, but just grab one. Pick a sticker and throw it up there. If you don't know their name, it's cool because it's better than the Jaguars defense. But anyway, B minus. I think you have a solid base, Clatt.
Okay. I gotta go with you. Oh, I think it's a B minus over there.
I like that Devontae Smith pick too because he could be the guy. AJ Brown pulling coverage. I mean, it's not bad in the middle of the draft.
That's the number
one wide. the number one receiver in that team. Yeah, no, not bad, not bad. The more I look at it, the more I like it.
Right. Pope, can you go ahead and start with mine real quick? I got earphones
Ugh.
problems here.
All right, one of the worst fucking drafts I've ever seen. We're gonna go with Scott's. We're gonna go with Kamara, Jefferson, McLaurin, Etienne, Hunt, and then he goes around and seals it with Hawkinson, Russell Wilson, DeAndre Hopkins, right? Julio Jones, Kenneth Gainwell, Tyler Boyd, 49ers defense, Carl Olsen, Kirk Cousins, Zach Moss. Okay, and then okay. So what I do like about this draft, I like his running backs and receivers right off the bat, right? So you have Kamara, you've got Jefferson, McLaurin. I think that right there, that's just three solid picks. He hit it. I can't believe McLaurin fell to him coming back around. I think that's phenomenal. He's got two of the top number ones, two of the young guys coming in, showing onto the scene. He's got Kamara, who's established himself and is the back in that offense. Etienne, who could be the back in that offense, and Hunt, who could who definitely gets his volume in that offense. So he went ahead and secured those spots. I think so two receivers, two running backs right there secured. Now, whether he secured his flex or not in Hunt, that's up to that's a coin flip because of the whole situation, right? Football, the part of football that's not just playing football. Hawkinson, I think he did great. Went and secured himself a good tight end, pass catcher as long as he stayed on the field. Then went and got him a great quarterback, so he has a great solid starting lineup. Hopkins, that hurts right there because he's going to miss 6 games, right? That's a problem. But he did okay and swung it around and got Jones, who could be a vital piece of that offense. Kenneth Gainwell, who is a coin flip. As long as Sanders, I think, stays healthy, Gainwell don't see much. But Tyler Boyd is a great addition. He is one of those top 3 guys in one of those offenses that they like to throw the ball. It's come on. I mean, he's got a great quarterback. He's got great receivers. You can't cover them all, right? And then the rest of his draft pick, great backup with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a very solid fucking QB. I think he's top 12 every year. So he did good right there. Man, Scott, I think you have a pretty solid base. I think you had a pretty solid draft. The only thing I would have probably changed is you got 2 of the same guy, I think, in Hunt and Etienne. I want Etienne to be the guy, but I've just seen Robinson be really good at his job.
Right, and I agree with you on that. I mean,
yeah, and same with Hunt. I'd like to see Hunt, on his own team like he was with KC, but Chubb's just too good at what he does. So I think that hurts you a little bit. But I'd love Jefferson and McLaurin is kind of what I would want to see out of my wide receiver core. So I really like that, and I really like Kamara. Almost makes me regret not taking him up there. But I'll give you a B. We can go with a B for you, Scott.
Okay. So, all right. I'm a little worried about my running backs right now. Like you said, I do have 2 of the same running backs over there.
Oh, hold on, B minus, because you don't have any backups.
Yeah, I don't have any backups. So I was actually going to give myself a B minus. So, with Zach Moss, he was the number 2. Now, Cook is now the number 2 over there. So, but let's remember Moss and Singletary. Singletary gets hurt. Moss is going to step in that role to be the backup running back. Man, is he gone?
James Cook.
They cut him.
No, they ain't cut him, but James Cook is.
No. I'm talking about if Singletary gets hurt, Cook is going to be the starting running back, and Moss will be the backup running back.
Yeah, if Cook don't just kill it.
I don't, but
I don't know. So my concern is the team. I mean, they drafted Zach Moss, and it's the same with Singletary, right? They're like begging these guys to just be.
Well, they're both Singletary and Moss are the most. They're both the same running back, in my opinion. What do you think, Paul?
I think it's more of they're pretty damn close.
Yeah, they're pretty damn
Singletary
close.
makes them miss a little bit more. Moss is a little bit more of a banger, but they're not too far off. I agree.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with you on that. So, Paul, overall, who had the best draft out of our group there, in your opinion?
That's a
Good
tough one.
job, buddy.
That's a tough one. Hmm. Well, I know who's going to win it, right?
Me.
That's me.
All
No,
right.
what?
See, he just said it. No, he just admitted. He said, "Right." You heard him. Hope said, "No, I'm going to win." It's okay, buddy.
Incorrect.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the confidence.
I like what Joe did. I think the three backs. I think if they stay healthy, and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore aren't bad, and Deontay Johnson's a nice backup. Herbert's a pretty solid quarterback, and Ertz is a nice touchdown dependent wide receiver. I think he makes a very strong push. I think. I mean, I'm gonna give you. I can give you playoff guys right now.
All right, let's do it.
Joe, Wellborn, me, Bryce, you, Clat.
I'm going to have to say Tater in somewhere in there.
Ooh. Tater and Cody could definitely squeeze in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see Tater finally getting in this year, maybe. I just don't like the Peoples Jones pick.
Yeah, I don't either.
Free agent. Stop picking him. Tater does that though. He has to do one a draft, right? I'm probably gonna say, and don't tell him I said this, but looking at everybody, I think I don't know. I'm a running back. I'm a running back fan. I like the three running back system. I love that he got McCaffrey and Jones and Swift. I'm super jealous that I wasn't able to pull something like that off. So I'll go with Joe.
Joe for the win. So Joe for the win. I'm. I think it's going to be Joe.
You don't win in the draft. Joe for the best draft. You don't win in the draft though. He also picked third, so fuck him. I think I lost you, Scott. Did we lose Scott? All right, so we lost Scott, guys.
Oh no, I lost you.
There he goes. All right, he's back.
Oh, there. No.
There.
You were gone for a minute. Yeah, you were gone for a minute.
I have the host. I'm the host.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So I think I'm going to win it. I think Joe and I are going to be playing for the championship. I think you're going to get your money back, buddy.
That's cute. Oh man, Scott. I don't know what it's like to come in third since I've been first or second the past like 4 years.
Whatever, dude. No, you haven't. All right, so the bullshit's coming in. Paul, what are we going to be talking about, Nick? What?
So I came in second the year that Joe won it, right? And then I won it.
And then I won it.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
You have not won it in the past 4 years.
Oh, that's right. I won it the year before.
Like Joe. 18 years
ago.
That's
right. Shut up, dude.
And yeah. Anyway,
right, whatever.
It's okay. He's old, so we're old timers.
Fuck you.
But no, it was a good draft. It was a fun draft.
Right, it was
solid.
Yeah. All right, Paul. What are we going to be talking about next week? Right before we're going to break down week 1 on Wednesday, and talk about injuries. Make sure you set your lineup for Thursday. I'm ready, man. Week 1, right around the corner. I'm loving it.
That's right. So we're going to be talking about that first week. We're going to be talking about guys that you should start, guys that you should possibly sit, depending on matchups. guys, if you have questions, now's the time they ask. We had a question while we were live streaming, asking about Zach Ertz and his injury. So Zach Ertz still has a week to get better, right? The only problem is if the team goes up, if the team goes down, or anything like that, if Zach Ertz isn't 100%, he won't be in there every play. So if you have the option to sit him in week one, I would possibly set him in week one just to make sure that he's 100%, and he can go out there and get you those touchdowns like only Zach Ertz can do. So, but if you have questions, hop on our live stream, email us, text us, whatever you need to do to get a hold of us. I get a lot of messages on Facebook asking about lineups. If you want to hit me up on Facebook or anything like that, just do that. So,
Okay, I had a question real quick as well. I have one saying, if you were up bat and you have Mixon and Najee, who would you pick?
if you were what? I'm sorry.
If you're up the draft and the good players are already gone, who would you pick, Mixon or Najee?
That's a tough one. Um, I honestly would take Najee. I love
Uh,
Mixon, and I'm not like we talked about. I'm not a huge fan of Najee, but Najee is going to be the back. You worry about his injuries, but then you watch what TikTok, and he's running up the hills by himself 2 hours after practice. So he he's going to get the opportunities, right? With Mixon's going to get the opportunities, but they have too many other options on that team. They got Higgins, they got Jamar Chase, they got a lot of mouths to try to feed. Whereas you got a new quarterback and new receivers over there in Pitt. It's going to be Najee's job. You know,
agreed. All right, guys. Like we said, we're going to come on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending, and we're going to talk about week one, and then we're going to talk about the contest that we're going to give away for our first jersey for week one. We're going to give you the information what you need to do. We give out autographed jerseys, not bullshit jerseys. We give out great jerseys. So we'll let you know what you need to do. And Paul, you got the last word.
all right, guys. It's been another great week. I hope you enjoyed our draft. I hope you were able to take away from it, learn something from it. Don't do like Little did and draft a quarterback so early. But in the end,
He's going to give you
you know,
some
it's
shit.
it's all about seeing scenarios where people fall and just going with your gut and going with the best available player. So I hope you were able to learn something, take something from that, and I hope if you still got a draft, you're able to make those decisions for your draft. If you've already drafted, then continue with us throughout the season as we give you some of those picks and some of those plays. We're going to be talking about DFS. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. So just stick with us. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow. Tell your friends about us. Hey, if you want to win championships, we're the podcast to listen to. So that's all I got for it. That's been another week. Sorry it was a long show, guys. We had a lot to cover, though.
Yep, exactly, guys. So we'll see you next week. Y'all have a fun weekend, guys. If you're drafting this weekend, have fun, make right decisions, and we'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.